All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the KnoBall Podcast. I'm Lewis, along with my co-host Luke.
What's up, guys?
And today we have yet another super exciting episode for you guys today. So much has happened over the last week in sports news, and it's just we're ready to dive into it. We got a lot of things we want to talk about today. Surprising roster cuts. From NFL of all these 53-man rosters are out. There's a huge weekend of college football news and a crazy slate upcoming for us. And this is the one-stop shop to hear everything about those topics today. So without wasting any further time, we're going to go ahead and jump headfirst into the elephant in the room in the sports world right now. The NFL, all 32 teams have adjusted their rosters to the 53-man mark, which means a lot of players had their dreams met and was able to join a football roster. However, for as many guys as there were that had a dream met, there were double to triple the guys that lost their opportunity to make the 53-man roster. Of course, there were a lot of guys that we expected to make it, and a lot of guys we expected to get cut. But what we're here to talk about is the surprises, the moves that don't make sense, the things that leave us scratching our heads a little bit. And so we're going to jump right in. Luke, who immediately jumps out to you as a guy that, why did they cut him?
Well, let's start with the hometown team. We got the Carolina Panthers moving on from Hunter Renfrow. Bro took a couple years off football for personal reasons. He's back, or at least was back until the 53-man roster cuts. He was a former Raiders wide receiver. Impressive training camp with the Panthers after missing the previous 2 seasons, and he was released on Tuesday.
And I have to say that's a surprising move from Carolina. Obviously, we're looking at their wide receiver room. And it is deep. We're entering with that 53-man at 7. We were having discussions of entering at 7 or 8 wide receivers, and obviously there had to be an odd man out. In my opinion, David Moore was probably the odd man out in there because I think Hunter Renfrow's upside was higher than David Moore. However, again, and especially with everything we were reading about Hunter Renfrow, again, I think from a outside of the core 3 guys on the team. They're saying he had the best training camp in the wide receiver room. And watching the tape from training camp, his route running looked as crisp as it was when he was in his prime. So, however, just because he got cut does not mean it is over for Hunter Renfrow. As of yesterday, Adam Thielen got traded back to Minnesota, meaning that we now have a roster spot open. And of course, according to Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, they have been in conversation with Hunter Renfrow, wanting him back in that organization. So although he was cut, yes, that stinks. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the Hunter Renfrow experiment in his return to football with the Carolina Panthers continues on into the season. And I think that even though, yes, he's cut, I think there's a good shot by the end of the year, especially with this recent trade, he could be back.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. They definitely should think about bringing him back. They are lacking that veteran presence now with Adam Thielen's departure. And with a young, crowded room of wide receivers, they need that guidance, that route running skill that Hunter Renfrow brings to the table. Moving on from them, another big name, Isaiah Simmons, the former 8th overall draft pick. He was cut by the Packers after failing to find a consistent role in their defense. Missed tackles, coverage issues, you name it, he was having it. What do you think?
And again, it's always interesting to watch these rookies or these players coming into their rookie season, the poise, the hype, the talent they were bringing. Again, this was a guy I wanted the Panthers to draft in 2020. I mean, he was arguably inside the top 10, top 15, one of the most exciting defensive guys in the draft.
For sure.
He couldn't figure it out, unfortunately. And again, it just stinks to watch these guys that you got to watch them draft. You see all the hype, and then they just fall from grace. It stinks to see. However, I don't necessarily think it's over for Simmons just yet because he is young. and I think he does have a role on a team, maybe if it's only at a special teams capacity. However, it is a surprising move in the fact that I don't think Green Bay's defensive depth at the linebacker position is all too great. And I think that they might find themselves down the stretch. They might find themselves in some trouble if injuries preclude that defense.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, it's definitely one of those things where I feel like it's more of a scheme fit than anything. Yes, he did have those struggles tackling and coverage issues, but a lot of that, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are professionals. If you can't tackle, you can't tackle. But at the same time, it's on the defensive coordinator to put their guys in positions where they do not have to play in a way that they are uncomfortable. That is one of the strengths of, you see the Eagles defense, the Vikings defense last year with all the safety blitzes. Situations like that, when you have a deep safety room, put them up in the box. When you need more when you need more linebacker depth, maybe play a safety up in the box with the linebackers. If not, throw an extra corner on the field. You gotta do something to help these guys out. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a Packers hater. I just didn't see them doing that for him. Who else do we got?
I'm going to shift our focus a little bit and look at the New York Giants. Two big names on that team that I was surprised to see cut. First things first, maybe not a surprise, but definitely one as a fan of football, definitely tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. It is sad to see Tommy DeVito, the Italian stallion, Tommy Cutlets, cut from the roster. Again, the Giants in an interesting position. You bring in Russ, you draft Dart, you got Jameis. No team carries 4 quarterbacks. Most teams don't even carry 3 quarterbacks. So it is an obvious, it's not exactly surprising that he got cut. However, it just stinks. However, again, you're looking at a guy whose football career is not done, because I believe within moments of him being cut, the New England Patriots went and claimed him off of waivers. So he found himself on another team.
Yeah, so. I mean, in this situation, most would say that he's the odd man out, and surface level, I'd agree with that. I would look towards Russell Wilson more as the odd man out in this situation. Tommy Cutlets has been there. He knows the offense. Russell Wilson's a little newer. I mean, he's new to this team. It's his first season in New York. He has struggled the last few years. Yes, he's a veteran presence. Yes, he was expensive. Stay away from that. Pay Tommy Cutlets. He knows the team, knows the roster, knows the organization, knows the fan base, knows the plays. He knows everything. Bring in Jameis as that veteran presence. He has that locker room ability. Yes, Russell Wilson is probably going to start. Yes, he is probably going to lose his job. Jackson Dart is going to steal that spot. In this situation, I don't understand why they moved on from one guy and not the other. I think it came down to the money, and they wanted to pay Russ and have Russ on that team. They already paid him. I think it was a mostly guaranteed deal. I could be wrong, but at that point, you might as well keep the guy you've invested your money in.
That's right. I mean, I hear that, and I agree. Staying on track with that, staying inside the New York Giants organization, a guy that really stood out to me that got cut was Greg Dulcich, tight end for the Giants. Greg Dulcich has had an interesting career. He was drafted in 2022 by Denver and had a decent rookie season for being a backup tight end. Had 400 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. But again, after his rookie season, did battle some injuries, got traded to New York while on injury in 2024, and then got cut in the preseason. However, I look at New York's tight end room. Theo Johnson's not a bad tight end, but again, I'm putting Dulcich when he's healthy over Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhertz, and I don't even know who Thomas Fidone II is. No disrespect to him. So again, I think it's kind of there. It's one of those things where, and again, maybe he was battling injury and couldn't figure out the scheme. However, I look at their tight end room, and I just think that Greg Dulcich is not the worst tight end in that room. So it doesn't make sense from that aspect why he didn't make the roster. However, again, we're not I'm not a GM. I wasn't there, so I can't totally comment on that. But it's just not a thing that makes it much sense to me as some of the other guys. Keeping on track, though, another guy that really stands out to me is a guy that's been bouncing around the league, for such a long time now. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, found his time here in Seattle short. However, I don't necessarily think that's a crazy thing. I think that MVS was supposed to be a backup decision. Obviously, you bring in Cooper Kupp and you have JSN, who are going to be your number 2 and number 1. But who was going to be their number 3? I honestly think that MVS was going to take that spot, but with rookie Torrey Horton showing incredible glimpses in training camp and in the preseason and just being younger, I think they want him to see the field as that slot guy over MVS sooner versus later. Mm-hmm. And it just makes more sense for Seattle to make room for him now and get reps for him now instead of waiting. And I think that's probably why that decision was made. Again, and MVS is another guy that I would imagine is going to find himself on team soon because he's a depth guy. He's not the worst receiver ever. So, again, he's just another guy that was I think it was a scheme thing.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah, for sure. And let's talk about another receiver here, Deontay Johnson. If somebody can study the fall off of Deontay Johnson, please tag us. I would love to hear it. Deontay Johnson, bro, has been struggling getting cut from the Browns. He didn't even make the 53-man roster after getting traded twice last season. That's pretty much that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about the guy. Again, you're talking about a guy who for a couple years there, the potential was through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
He had some problems catching the ball, but, man, if you were reading the advanced analytics on the guy, he had some of the best separation rates in route running across the league.
Yeah, for sure.
Comes over to Carolina and can't figure it out, and then he just could not get anything established. Now he finds himself a free agent, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it's safe to say that the Deontay Johnson his tenure in the NFL is pretty much wrapped up. I don't think at this point, with the way his career has been the last year, I just can't imagine he's really going to be a someone in legitimate contention for any roster spot, avoiding injury in the NFL. So.
Yeah. Moving on from that, let's look at a few trades that went down this week prior to cutdowns. These guys did land on rosters. We had the Raiders get Kenny Pickett from the Browns for a 2025 fifth-round pick. We had the Vikings get a 2026 sixth-round pick for cornerback Mekhi Blackmon. I was looking forward to seeing him play this season, and our corner room is kind of shallow right now, so we'll see how that plays out. We did flip that sixth-round pick for Adam Thielen. Browns get tackle KT Levinston. I have no idea who that is. He was worth a seventh-round pick, probably a nobody. And then those are all the big trades besides the Adam Thielen trade that went down.
Yeah, no, and again, I do want to kind of highlight back to that Kenny Pickett trade. I mean, of course, the Browns quarterback room has been a favorite of ours to talk about. I think that, of course, Kenny Pickett being traded is not necessarily a surprise because, again, you have two rookie quarterbacks on the bench. Both, again, you spent a high pick on Gabriel, and Shadur, from a preseason standpoint, looked better than any other quarterback on that roster, from what we saw. So I think again, Pickett just didn't make much sense there on that team. But he does land on a team that does kind of need that quarterback depth. So I think it's kind of a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Smallhands Pickett walked into a big competition, like going up against two guys drafted this year, Dylan Gabriel and Shadur. Obviously, Joe Flacco is going to get the start. Dude's a menace. He's 40-something old. He's old, but he's still good. Dylan Gabriel will probably get some starts this season. Shadur played better in the preseason than he did, but that's just reality based off pick status. A lot of people might not think the round you're picked matters in this situation. It definitely does. The GMs are professionals. They know what they're doing most of the time. Although for long term, this could be good for Sanders. He's on the roster. They didn't let him walk. They definitely could have, although he would have gotten scooped up pretty quick. They could have let him walk. They didn't. They want him. This could be good for his long-term development. What else you got?
Man, and again, I just think that, I think the competition starts now more than ever for that, because I truly can't imagine Flacco starting the whole year, and especially into next season, it's going to be Gabriel versus Shedeur this whole year. So I think we're just now getting going on of course the depth chart has Shedeur at 3, but man, you get into 5-6 games into the season, and they've lost all those games, man. Who knows who they're going to put out there, and that is what's going to be exciting to unfold. So,
yeah, for sure. All right, you want to talk about a couple winners and losers from the preseason real quick?
Sure,
and
sure.
Then get into college football.
I like that.
All right, so a couple winners we got. Sadly, I hate to say it, the Chiefs offense. It pains me. 22 plays with Mahomes on the field, scored 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns in 22 plays. That gives you, 7 plays a drive on average, scoring a touchdown. That is ridiculous. Their receiving core is going to be healthy come the beginning of the season, minus Rashee Rice on suspension. And then another winner we got is Trevion Henderson. Led all rookies in yards per carry during the preseason, 7.1 yards per carry. This dude's going to be a menace behind that Patriots O-line. What do you think?
Yeah, no, again, I'm not surprised by the Chiefs at all. They did everything right this offseason. Again, we've seen this happen. When the Chiefs lose a Super Bowl, they go out and they get guys to get them back again. So I think it'll be exciting. Again, Trayvon Henderson, an interesting prospect to watch as this season unfolds. He's not the biggest, he's not the tallest guy, but I would say he's probably the most well-rounded guy. You're looking at a guy who's going to make an instant impact on that team, not only in the run game, but in the catch game as well. And again, he even gets some special teams looks. Again, I think about his very first NFL touch in his preseason game. He took a kickoff 100 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Again, I think he's going to be an exciting guy. I think the Patriots are really starting to put something together that people want to watch. But following that, of course, we have to follow that with some losers. And I think the biggest losers of all of the NFL preseason has got to be Anthony Richardson, in my opinion. You're a first-round quarterback who has given 2 seasons with a team, and then they bring in another guy who doesn't have a very good track record. Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback, and then you get benched to him. If I'm Anthony Richardson, I want to get out.
Yeah. I mean, I could see why Anthony Richardson would want to leave. He was drafted as a very raw, undeveloped player. In some capacity, he should know that this is going to be a slow process. And also, he should be glad he's still on the roster. Like, you can see other – I don't have an example off the top of my mind, but there's been numerous quarterbacks who have been drafted high, and the team gives up on them before they were able to reach their true potential. Yes, he's had some injuries. He might be injury-prone. That's part of it when you're a running-style quarterback, but he still has a shot. It's not over yet.
Well, again, I have to look at. I don't think the Colts have really done a great job in trying to develop developing that raw talent. Again, they've had some coaching problems, and they're moving guys left and right. Again, sure Richardson hasn't been able to figure it out, but in all fairness, has he really been given the tools to really figure it out? So again, I don't know, but I think that's definitely a piece of it. And again, he's still on the roster. I think that this is going to be a similar a Bryce to Andy Dalton situation where I truly believe that the Colts look at Richardson and say he's going to be our starter, but he needs a second to take a step back.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. If they bring Daniel Jones out, he plays well. And then they try to switch back to Anthony Richardson and see what happens. I mean, sometimes you just need a little bit of that reality check in a sense. And that might be exactly what Anthony Richardson needs. Another loser from this preseason, I mean, in my opinion, they're always losers, the Cowboys.
Of course.
Jerry Jones is the worst GM in the history of GMs. I mean, you could say, yeah, whatever about the old Cowboys. They haven't been relevant in a very long time, playoff-wise. Micah Parsons. You have one of the top 3, and he's not 3, edge players in the NFL on your roster. Pay the man. Pay the man. He's just coming off his rookie deal, right? He hasn't even gotten a full contract yet, and they're not paying him. They're taking shots at each other in the media. This is just extremely unprofessional. I expect nothing more from the Cowboys.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's Jerry Jones' life story is to just be unprofessional.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
but again, this goes even back to before. The Cowboys have lost this season the day that free agency opened up.
absolutely.
They lost guys. They didn't outside of George Pickens. They didn't bring anybody in. Again, Dallas is not set up for success, and they continue year after year to slowly take steps back. And again, I don't know what. I don't even have words.
They still think they're going to win with Dak Prescott. That's all I have to say.
I think it's a fair assumption to make that until Jerry Jones retires, steps down, or kicks the bucket, that team is never going to be what it thinks it should be. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Cowboys fans, it is not going to be your year until Jerry Jones is out.
And that's just the reality of the situation.
All right. Couple guys got paid. Trey Hendrickson.
Finally.
I think it was a $16 million raise, $13 million, somewhere in there. He will be making a total of $29 million this season. And then a $1 million roster bonus if he plays 60% of the snaps. So basically, don't get injured. Why was this big for the Bengals? Their defense is non-existent. They need him. He is the anchor for their defense. I can't name a single other player on their defense besides him.
No, and that's a good point. And again, I think the Bengals, what they're doing is they're trying to make him happy right now, so then maybe next offseason they can possibly have some nicer contract negotiations. The thing about that figure is they're not interested in trading him this season. That's what that tells me. Because there's not a lot of NFL teams, especially teams that can compete. They don't have $30 million to blow on one guy, even if it's only 1 year. They have to absorb that contract. But again, I think that's what that says. Is it's like, hey, we will pay you big money We will pay you big money this year, and I think what they're trying to do is make him happy this year in order to make the negotiations that they tried to do this year go smoothly next year. However, with the way the Bengals salary cap situation is, you can't say for sure one way or the other because they have like 60% of their salary cap tied up in 3 guys. 3 incredible players, no, mind you. However, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with 3 guys.
Yeah, you might be able to put up 45 points a game, but you got to stop the other team from putting up 50.
That's right.
You can't win games like that. It's just not sustainable. Who else got paid?
The man from Washington, Terry McLaurin, locked himself up, making $87 million over the next 3 years, a 3-year extension. However, a deal could be worth up to $96, but only $44 in guaranteed. But will rise up to $50 before his final year of the contract. So it's an interesting move. I think that's one of those things I think you're gonna. It's a year too long, but again, you got to pay him now. So you got to pay him the big money now, so you can get what's left of his prime. Again, he's 29 years old. That's pretty much most receivers don't make it. This is it for him. From a historical standpoint, receivers that once they get to that 30 mark, the fall off is real. So, again, I think they had to pay him 3 years so they could get him for 1 year. And, again, most organizations do that. So, I don't think it's a great move for Washington. They got Debo. I like Luke McCaffrey a lot. He led all rookies in separation last season. They just they just didn't feed him the ball. But with trading Brian Robinson, that probably pushed the ante to sign him a little more because you lost a serious offensive weapon, so you needed to block him back in.
Yeah, and moving on from NFL, we're going to keep the transitions quick here. College football's biggest Week 1 games. It is upon us. We are there. Saturday is right around the corner.
And it is, and man, how exciting is that? But luckily, we are fortunate enough to not even have to wait till Saturday. We don't even have to wait till Friday. We are getting blessed with games tonight. As North Carolina North Carolina State will take on ECU, a bowl game rematch. One of the most exciting bowl games of bowl season last season. Man, how exciting is it going to be to watch an American powerhouse take on a team from the ACC who has had, some people say, a really good offseason, others say not so great. They lost a lot of guys. They brought in some guys. It's going to be an exciting matchup, and that's just a great way to open up the season. However, what I'm really excited for is tomorrow. UNC Charlotte taking on App State in the Dukes Mayo Classic. Of course, when this episode drops, tomorrow will be today. So when you're hearing this, it will be the day of for the Dukes Mayo Classic. We will be there. We are excited. Early analytics are saying that App State is only favored by 7 points. Or 6 points.
You shifted to 6.5.
6.5.
It's getting closer to negative for Charlotte. We like that.
That's right. So we're moving we're only being, and again, I don't think that's an unfair assumption to say. Again, I like App State. It is the battle of two first-year coaches for the teams. A lot of excitement. But again, I think Charlotte, I think they're just going to be sneaky good. I love it. I'm excited. There's just too much to talk about. We're going to be at the game. We'll meet up. We'll be posting some stuff on social medias. So if you can't go to the game or do you want to get some live, we will be posting some live action footage. Again, we talked about the team last week. Again, I'm just excited to see him play this week. Excited to take the field. It was announced that Connor Harrell will be the starting quarterback. He was announced captain. But again, I don't think that's a surprise there. And I think that from a standpoint in our league, I think he was probably the front runner for the team. However, if we start losing games, I wouldn't be surprised if Duke transfer Grayson Loftus sees the field later on in the year.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup is a big deal for both fan bases. This game is being played at Bank of America Stadium, home of the Carolina Panthers here in Charlotte. When you're hearing this, grab your mayo, hop in the car, and drive to Uptown. Tickets are $80. Get yourself in the door. It's a big game. It's a fresh start, like Lewis said, under Tim Albin for Charlotte, and we look forward to seeing him take the field. We got some big games coming up this week outside of Charlotte. Texas, Ohio State, Clash of the Titans. Two amazing teams, top-ranked Texas Longhorns taking on third-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. How's this going to play out?
Gosh, man, and what an exciting game! First game of the season. That is an afternoon game. That is lunch. That is lunchtime games. And what an exciting first game that is for the season. I personally can't wait to watch that game. In my opinion, I'd label it, if Charlotte and App weren't playing this week, it'd be my game of the week. But I'm gonna pull that, and that is a total biased take. However, again, you're talking about the best two teams in the country. I know Ohio State is ranked number 3. They should be ranked number 2. Penn State should be ranked number 3. I can't believe the CFB committee is leaving us hanging like that. But man, that is such a fun game. That is the most exciting first game I think we could have. I don't even have words. It's just going to be so incredible to watch. Some other exciting games for us this this week. TCU, North Carolina. They're playing on Monday. Bill Belichick's first on-field action, as well as getting to see that new TCU quarterback-wide receiver connection. They're saying that is one of the best in the country. I have to look also at some other games on Saturday. Again, we're in and out of conference play, so there's not going to be a ton of stuff. But LSU versus Clemson at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. Again, another game of two top 10 ranked opponents. Does it get any better than ranked on ranked football? No, it doesn't. A clash between one of the SEC's best and the ACC's best. Two powerhouses of their conference, respectively. And man, just how exciting will that be to watch that unfold?
Yeah, Clemson's favored by 3.5 points for that game. And this could have major implications on the college football playoff race. We'll have to see how that plays out. Moving on, we have Notre Dame versus Miami. Miami, Florida, not Miami, Ohio. The U. Two historic programs meeting in a game that brings back old school rivalry. The Irish are favored by 2.5 points, and it is sure to be a physical game. And
again, that game, I like that it's on Sunday. It's by itself. Of course, Virginia Tech and South Carolina are playing on Sunday as well, which will be a good game in itself. But Notre Dame, Miami, you're talking about Carson Beck, Jeremiah Love, two of the best at their position in all of college football. To watch these Titans clash will be, for better lack of word, impeccable.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be such an exciting game. And of course, I'm happy that this game is this Sunday since the NFL doesn't start this week. I think this will be a nice buffer until next week when the NFL kicks back up.
Absolutely. Well, you got anything else?
I think I've talked about everything we're going to talk about this week. Again, looking at a little bit of a shorter episode this week, but hey, that's all right. We are super excited to see everything unfold, super excited about tomorrow. If you're going to the game, let us know. We'll be more than happy to meet up with the fans, take some photos, and things like that. We'll be posting on the Instagram, so if you want to see yourself on there, make sure to give us a follow. And with that being said, though, Luke, if you take us out, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for listening. Come check us out. Tomorrow we'll be there. Bring your mayo. We love mayo. Don't we all? We love Charlotte wins even more.
That's right. This is I'm Lewis along with my co-host Luke, and this has been the KnoBallPod. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to drop a like and a subscribe. Drop a comment on things you want us to talk about. And go ahead and give us a follow on that Instagram as well, where we will be posting content and updates. So with that, though, again, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next week.